be able to communicate, to define what the priorities are arising out of this engagement. Assign responsibilities. Who does what? For example, Prime Minister's office. I can lead you to our coordination unit, and you look at our coordination mechanisms within the office and see how best you can explore all these further engagements. Timelines for delivery. An action matrix with timelines is very important so that we know when are we doing what. It's very sad to such a very wonderful, well-organized meeting to simply, wane away and nothing happens thereafter. Our Lord Bishop is very active, he's an actionable man. I know him from Chinda Mitiana Diocese, where I also come from. For us in Chinda Mitiana Diocese, we are very actionable, and you've already seen the results here. So I would look forward to seeing the Caritas Kasanaisi's coordinator here feeding our Lord the Bishop on the outcomes of this, on the co-action. We will look forward to coming back, invite us back, and tell us that when we met on the 9th of April, these are the action areas that we agreed upon, and now this is how we've progressed. This man has a lot of money, 15 million in 1 acre of cabbages. He must be very rich. We need to learn from this man. We need to come back and learn a story and say, now you've got maybe 3 or 4 more acres, and we've educated more farmers into the practice we've actually adopted using renewable energy. We need to see measurable indicators of this. We need to see farmers taking a center stage. This man took a very big center stage. He spoke for ages, but he was very right. He had to make sure we understand the primacy, the criticality of his speech, and indeed we understood. That was very important. We need to see local artisans. So all these must form part of the metrics, the action metrics I'm talking about. With those words, allow me to stop in the interest of time and allow you good deliberations as we continue to protect our gains. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Silva Sewanyana. Very deep, very instructive. Mkuru atugambi tulekerawo kunyumyamu tukole. Abamu twekubisiza zi selfie. We'll be telling people how we attended. Where do we go from here? I think you'll mark that for the group discussion. Where do we go from here? Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll invite Commissioner Bob Natifu to share with us his wisdom on how the government of Uganda can assist smallholder farmers to align their renewable energy practices with national and global climate commitments. Dr. Sewanyana called all of us donors, that before we run to my very good friend, Mr. Haman, we should consider ourselves donors. Now we have government. How can government etuyambye etya? We normally say tusaba government ekolechi kati etuyambye etya. Here we go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kakwanjala. Let me begin with the thought that you gave us about renewable energy. My brother from Budo, I think, will help us. I don't know whether that passes as you walk out. Thank you. So I'm Emuna Vudu from Bugisu. Now that I've gotten that one in part, my name is Bob Natifu. I'm the acting commissioner in the Ministry of Water and Environment, the Climate Change Department. So my predecessor, Mrs. Margaret Atieno Mwebesa, retired, and I'm the one shouldering the responsibility. So when the Right Reverend Father Lawrence Mukasa, the Bishop of Kasana-Luero Diocese, the Vicar General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So when I received a call from Father Hillary, I think that's about 2-3 days ago, he told me, have you gotten our invitation? I said, no, I've been away. He said, please come to Tasana. I told him, let me call back. I did not call back. So I apologize, I didn't call back, but at least I've made it. For two reasons. One, why I didn't confirm is because we have a running workshop which I am managing, and I was there with Imelda, and actually we should also thank her. She kept on reminding me, we should go. So I think she's your greatest ambassador in Kampala. And that workshop is ending today. So in the night I said, okay, I think we are all diligent to the church, let me go. That's reason number one. But reason number 2 and 3 is that I have attachments in Luero, Right Reverend Bishop. So my dad used to work here many years ago, in the 90s. So he was an education officer. We used to live in that hospital. There used to be a road there. I see now there's a gate. There's a house for education officers behind there. So every time I come, I'm coming home. But also, the third point is that my literary vocation, the way you hear me speak and talk, I think is also derived from the Catholic reverends and fathers who used to write eloquently in the newspapers. So that's Father Reverend Kanyike, I think he's retired now, and Father John Wine at Katende. So they write so eloquently in the Daily Monitor. My dad used to buy Daily Monitor and he sits in the veranda now that he's a retired man. After reading the newspaper, he would give me to read. So I take myself as one of those that have benefited from the Catholic Church. So I pay gratitude and I'm indebted to that. Okay, now to the topic. Sometimes it's difficult to come and talk about policy because it appears as if myself and Kagwanjala, we are boxing each other. I prefer listening to the farmers' stories and then I get back in terms of what we're able to do. So let me start by giving a bit of context based on what I've heard, because context, I think, matters. So let's imagine, it's a thought experiment, that we have one season and it rains from January to December. Or we have sunshine from January to December. What would our agricultural systems of productivity look like? I don't need an answer now, just think about it, because then you know where I'm headed to. So that tells us so many things. But perhaps we're blessed with the tropical climate that we have. Right? So we have a bit of rain, a bit of sunshine, and everything else in between. But in terms of climate, so what's happening now is that we're having that in excess or in less. Because to a traditional farmer, climate exhibits itself in 3 ways. So it's either too much rainfall, too little rainfall, or none at all. And all that comes with great extremes. So the great extremes that you want to look at is when you bring in discussions around what technology to use, what kind of systems that we could adopt to make sure we align with that. So that is the biggest and the starting dilemma that we have to deal with. But where does this come from? So we're talking about, I think the question was about commitments, it was about what we're doing and everything else. So I'll try to frame that around 3 key areas, not to bore the audience. The first instance is about the commitments. And since the church is about fairness, I'll try to link those commitments with what our responsibility is around the table. So in terms of commitments, at international level, we've signed up to commitments and obligations. But those commitments and obligations speak around how do we address greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere that have actually led to the distortion of the climate system. And that's why we have either irregular rainfall, or unstable, or extreme heat. And I say that because when it comes to farming itself, another example that I can give, I'm a farmer myself. So I'm also a son of a farmer and teachers. So one time, my mom grows tomatoes, but she has a bit of irrigation, and we are the ones who put irrigation. So we're thinking, so we have sorted out everything else. So at some point I was in Kampala, she calls, hey my son, come and see. And you could hear the excitement in her voice. So when I reach Mbale, Manafa in particular, she says, you see, this is my harvest. So she gives me a box of tomatoes. It wasn't so much of good quality, but it was a box, because I'd heard in Kampala that a box of tomatoes goes for 500,000. So I was excited. So I drive a pickup straight. I pick, she's visibly excited. I say, okay, I'm going to bring the money, don't worry. Myself, I drive the pickup to Nakawa. Panange nine nyanya zangewan. So I raise this so that we understand the dilemma farmers go through and maybe how we can help. But how can we help? So the first gentleman comes and says, hey, naezi nonga ntono, enda kwe mitwale ebiri. Said, you know, what do I do? I say, mba maso. Another one comes, naye mzee olaba buno obugundi butono, ate zigenda nakwengera, ngenda kwe mitwale esatu. So that's when I understood the predicament of farming. I said, okay, thank you very much. I drove away. That's scenario one. Scenario two, I grow trees in Katugo there. So tree farming is expensive. And I want to link this to carbon trade and carbon markets, and you'll decide yourselves whether a traditional farmer, ordinary farmer should even go into that. So I grow trees. It's a big investment. So I have 10 hectares. So you bring seedlings, they're quite costly. You have to bring a grader, tractor which charges you 1 million every day then you bring seedlings. But depending on the timing, and I'm a climate guy, but you see sometimes there's a margin of error. Right now, it is March, April, May, right? So we have had the onset of rains, and then in Luero actually, which receives about 480 mils to 520 mils, an agriculturist will tell you it can support plant growth even with the challenges. So I bring around this time, we begin planting. The following day, the sun comes like we had made an agreement that it should come. Long story short, I plant everything else. When I come back after 1 week, the only standing seedlings are about a quarter or half of the 10 hectares. So the question is, do I invest more? Do I bring irrigation? Is it a solution? Maybe, maybe not. But even if it was a solution, is it affordable to me as an ordinary person? So these are just for us to gauge our memories and then relate to the practical elements that as the traditional farmers go through. In the end, when I harvested, I think I only got about $800 in total, which is rubbish. But that's the world that we live in. But how have we then tried to cluster this climate response? And I bring this because we have agreed, we have signed all sorts of commitments at international level. Commitments that say that we should strive, all countries should strive to contribute to greenhouse gas stabilization or concentration in the atmosphere at a level that should avoid dangerous interference with the climate system. So what that statement alone acknowledges is that climate or climate change per se is human induced. But there's also a responsibility where it's coming from. And I'm raising this because the church is about fairness, the church is about truth. So if the church is about fairness and truth, who should act first in terms of supporting vulnerable people and poor people like Uganda? If you are to go by the justice frame, it is the developed countries that should support. And that's why for us, I hear people saying donors, donors. We don't call them donors in our speech, because if we relate the climate perspective, you're just trying to pay as a polluter so that even us, we can try to live in this world. So, given that extent, we have tried to develop climate policy that responds to what we've agreed to at international level. But that can only go up to a certain extent. And again, if you look at the policy direction that we've set, it's very robust and clear. From the policy anchor point, we have Vision 2040, which all government people have clearly spoken about. So this is talking about transforming our rural peasantry livelihoods into
But anyway, the thing is, the anchoring of policy is very, very subtle thing in terms of the kind of policy direction. Vision 2040 to what Dr. Isaac eloquently talked about, renewable energy policy 2007, the national climate change policy 2015, and also the energy policy 2020. All these commit government in terms of expanding renewable energy generation. So what's the starting point? How do we expand renewable energy generation so that everybody can benefit? So if you look at what we've done in some of the policy documents that we've enlisted, we had renewable energy generation as a first standing at 912 megawatts. Now, we've made a commitment. In our NDC, we committed to how can we drive this to 3,500 megawatts. And the only scalable, the only significant addition that we've had since then is Karuma, which started 2012, I think. So that's, you can see how long this will take. 2012, and I think it has a generation capacity of 600 megawatts. So if you add the 912 to 600, we are about 15, this is just halfway. But the energy experts, and I think the discussions that have been occurring to even anchor it even higher, 40,000 megawatts. So that's the ambition that we have. But how do we then get to that ambition? It requires a legal engagement in terms of mobilizing resources and dealing with our comrades elsewhere to see then how do we support such ambitious development initiatives to reach that ambition. If we are to address all these barriers that we are talking about, tree cutting and everything else. So in terms of renewable energy, we're also talking about scaling micro-scale irrigation. Perhaps in part to address the challenges that my mother faces. But I think when we talk about micro-scale irrigation, we forget that there are other, and that's why I asked, is it sufficient, or is it in itself enough to improve productivity? So that's why these discussions in the church should help us to make sure that this is taken in a compound way. That we may not talk about micro-scale irrigation as a
Sure. That's going to address all the challenges that we have, but there are also other climate smart agricultural practices that we need to take into action if we are to have that productivity and improving individual livelihood and well-being as we have. So there's also a bit of effort in terms of agro-industrial linkages. So in Luero here, I know, for example, there is an ethanol plant which actually was commissioned in 2025 and buys maize from over 20,000 farmers and then transforms this into bioethanol, which is waste as it is, farm waste, but then transformed into bioethanol. So I think that's the kind of large-scale activities that we could do at our side to see how we could advance climate action, but also promoting renewable energy generation. So renewable energy generation has been talked about so much about technologies that we have at our disposal. And I agree with Herman. I think this technology, there has to be a social aspect. See, then we are introducing all sorts of things, including irrigation, by the way. I have a bit of challenges, even if I come from that same setting. If you look at the ambition to advance irrigation at the expense of traditional knowledge, then it becomes a long shot. Because is it sufficient or evident enough that the technology that we are bringing on the ground is going to solve all the problems? Perhaps not. But also, even if it doesn't solve, how is the acceptability of the technology within the communities? And that's when I agree with Herman that probably social elements, which takes a much longer time, because people have been used to their own traditional technology for the last 50 years. It's not something that could change over time. And again, there, the church has a role to play. Another thing associated with technology, the farmer talked about that if you have solar, it's good, okay, you could go. But we're forgetting something, again, where I need the church to help. Vandalism of this technology takes center stage. So, for example, we set up automated weather stations. Or you set up a small-scale micro-irrigation scheme. Before you know it, the community will come and vandalize it. So, but to our side, I think it's understandable that because climate action, people have been at this for the last 50 years. If I'm 50 years now or 60 years, whatever I've done for the last 60 years will not only change in a year or two. So that's why we need to have this sustained engagement with communities to understand, even before we introduce these technologies, if they are to make sense. Now to carbon markets and carbon trade. What is that? What does that even mean? So carbon trade, carbon markets, this is something again that was coined at the international level as a response to addressing the greenhouse gases, especially in developing countries. So that we have the convention on one side, we have the Kyoto Protocol on one side to say that, look, how can developed countries support developing countries to reduce emissions? And one of the ways was to plant trees. And that can easily be taken up by communities if they don't have this full-scale information of what it is that is embedded within such very enticing concepts. So can a small farmer of 1 acre maybe benefit from carbon credits? Maybe yes, maybe no. But for me, I would say no. Because if you have just 1 acre or half an acre and you plant trees, those trees should be for your social aspects as what people have talked about. Because remember, if it's the only place that you have, we only encourage you to plant trees at the boundaries and then use the other land productively to grow crops. Because once you do that, then you're locking up your land for another 10 years or 15 without productivity at all. So I think this has to be understood clearly from the onset. Finally, carbon credits or carbon markets can be a good thing if it is done at a very large scale, because it's a big investment, and that's why I asked at the start, can an ordinary farmer like myself engage in it? Because there are several requirements that you need that we've set up. First, we have a carbon market mechanism, which actually should tell whoever is interested the processes and procedures that you have to go through. One, you need a letter of approval, a letter of no objection, expressing what your project is all about, and we give you a green light to say, okay, you go and do the baselining, do the project development documents, the PDDs, and then you come back. And these are highly technical in nature, and it costs money. And in most cases, you're going to hire a consultant to do that. Now, once that is done, you come back again in terms of then how then do we work together to see that we work with you to advance this project if it fits within the parameters that we've set. What we are increasingly seeing is projects that are coming either efficient cook stoves or tree planting, which is understandable because part of the reason is that the cost involvement is not as much, but the emission factor, I don't know how to convert that in Uganda, is slightly lower to have efficient cook stoves and planting trees than having wind energy, because wind energy is also renewable energy. So can an ordinary farmer maybe set up a wind energy farm? But at least on the government scale, we have tried to enlist all the renewable energy options, including wind energy and all the rest, to be part and parcel of increasing this generation that we so desire, if you have to transform and improve individual livelihoods and well-being. So thank you so much. Because of time, I'll stop at that. Thank you, and hand over back to my brother.
Thank you very much, dear Commissioner. What a reassuring presentation. Atugaine government ebirimu ebirowoozaako era kyonna kye tukola tujja kuba tuyamba gavumenti okukiggusa. Webale nnyo munnabuddu webugisu wane alanaabe. Well, that's pretty much what we heard from the experts. I now want to come to you for a few questions and comments. In the interest of time, I'll only take four questions or issues. And I beg Bokwata Kazindaro tokalemerako. You get a dakika yemu, speak for a minute. You must be amazed at how enthusiastic we are, how much we love renewable energy. Yes, that we can't even find a proper Luganda word for it. NJ?
Yes, Simon.
Well,
Simon, can we...
at this juncture, I'll invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to stand up in a very special way to welcome our guest of
economic development.
Is the accounting officer.
The accounting officer.
Sebo twagala okwaniriza ate munnaluweero nako kanjawulo bannaluweero tumukubireko mu ngalo ezimwaniriza bannange mwana
wakukaalo naddala ery'enakaseke
ate ekiro ekijja okunyumira mukristu
mukristu ddala
akola buli kya bukristu afuna amasakalamentu
ate ne community agiyambira ddala
noza ne opena kale that was lighter. Njagala tuddeko gye muli. What do you make of the presentations? What issues would you like to raise? And where do we go from here? That's okay, muhimu. Erinnya lyo naye njagala munne ku bakyala bannaye tuleme kwefeebya. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I'm Wilson Kabagambe from Nakaseke. I deal in beekeeping. My question is regarding nature restoration. Presenters have been mentioning about an affordable technology, e.g. cost of solar appliances. What measure does the government have to bring that to farmers' appetite? That is affordability.
Thank you very much. Another reaction? Lady, tukole kukuteyo. Kale, bomarao, tugende ku bakyala babiri.
Neyanzeke. Erinnya Matovu Sam. Nga ndi mulimi. Kansookera ku kali akako. Amasannyalaze ag'obutonde agataggwaawo ate nga tegoonoona butonde.
Wow. Tumuwe ku ngalo.
Kakati ekizibu kyange kiri ku gavumenti. Emyaka mingi tutunulanga ebibira bitemwa. Biweddewo mu Luweero, kati bagenze eggululira n'ebbi yonna ebibira bitemwa. Fenga ffe tukole ki? Gavumenti eraba. Egamba kusimba miti naye nga n'egiriwo yewa pamiti abantu okugitema. Amanda gayita omwo nga galaba. Before nga gavumenti tondagaana abantu kukozesa manda, you must provide an alternative. Before you stop anything, you must provide an alternative.
Thank you.
What has the government done to provide an alternative for charcoal, for using charcoal? In Sendala, they provide this alternative on gas. Fetuli kuchi. We are just looking. Emiaka jita, we are just looking.
Webali nnyo, webalire ddala.
Omukyala.
Nsanyuse nnyo nti akaasose wakogedde mu Luganda. Gavumenti tiyeetemu ebibiri.
Nze Nakalema Florence omulimi e Nakaseke. Njagala kwebaza nnyo abatuyise wano mu musomo. Tweyongeddeko okumanya ng'abalimi.
Thank you.
Ekyange ekisooka mwagambye omukyala yentabire wa kino. Naye tulina ekizibu kigenda wa representative from the Ministry of Gender nti programs nyingi zijja naye zikwatira ddala ku mukyalo wa wansi omulimi afaanana nga nze. Tulina project ya grower gyogedde bulungi, yaliko collateral mungi, ate abalina abakyala ab'amaanyi ne baziddukira mangu ne bazitwala. Weesanga omukyala wa wansi akoze eki tafunyeemu. Saba mutuyambe mutulongoosezemu. Ekyokubiri nsaba house eno yonna abaami abali wano mwe nga temulimu, tulina ekirwadde ky'abaami ewansi. Omukyala weesanga ng'akola nnyo, ateekamu nnyo. Beffe tuli mu groups ffe twewola, ozeewola omwami n'azeewola. Mu kutunda ettaka y'ennamba emu nga tomanyi nakumanya. So twetaaga bwemba muli mindset change, at least we need forwards for men. Mubagambeko bakyuseemu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. For the benefit of our brothers and sisters, she's talked about husbands who are too dominating, that when women go to groups, saving groups, they pick money and their husbands eat the money. So they are calling out for our protection.
Yes, Simon,
don't riot. Yes.
Let's take another one from a lady.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Christine Nakamanya. I'm the councillor representing workers in Luweero District Council.
Wow.
And also the vice chairperson of LC5 Luweero District.
Wow.
Yes. Nja kwogera ku side y'abakyala ku renewable energy kubanga ebiseera bino tulaba nti ffe nga abakiikirira abantu mu byalo gye tuva okusinziira naddala mu byalo wamu ne mu town councils tulaba nti abakyala bagenda kulema okufumba ate nga tulaba nti abakyala ekyo kitukwatirako ddala. Abakyala batandise okufumbisa obucupa kuba n'enku nazo ze twogerako tezirabika. Abantu batandise okufumbisa obuveera kituufu kuba n'amanda tegakyasoboka kuba waliwo ebiseera simanyi wano oba waliwo omuntu kati amanyi ebbeeyi y'amanda, ensawo y'amanda sente zeegula. Ate abakyala tuli awaka nga tetulina wadde akasente ketukola akasobola okugula amanda. Ebiseera bino ogenda n'olaba nga batunda akaveera okutandikira ku 1,000 ne terusobola kufumba lunaku, ne meal tesobola kujja. The challenges abakyala ze bafuna. Government yagabako ku gas, especially in town councils and maybe Kampala, twalaba naye ng'olaba era abayina be bakola ki be bafuna. Ate ne bw'onooba wa gas tebasobola refill. Gas ali expensive. Twafunyeko ku mukisa ne tugendako e Namunkekeera ne tulaba nga bakola gas, naye ogenda okulaba nti era eyeesobola twalowoozezza naffe nti bwe tunaagendako eri gye bamukolera osanga tunaavaayoko ne ku gaasi asoboka ssente entono naye ogenda okulaba era baagala ba suppliers abasobola okumuggyayo mu bulk be basobola omufuna kati tetumanyi kyakukola na kugamba bantu baffe so abakulu abali awo abatuteekerateekera gye bugenda okujja tujja kulaba nti okuggyawo obutonde bw'ensi ne renewable energy ono gwe twogerako ate ne affordability era tetunaba kugitunulako kati mbadde ntunuulira bwe tutambula mu masomero tubadde ne pitula trains zaffe pitirivu bwe tutambula waneeno buli muntu alina pitula train. Why don't we start from that? Isn't that good energy? Hey,
renewable
buli muntu alina kaabuyonjo
and steadily available.
Yes, balowoozeeko awo tutandikira buli maka galina kaabuyonjo.
Okay. Thank you very much. She's talking about the crisis before us, that charcoal has also become very costly, and women have resorted to cooking with plastic bottles, using plastic bottles as firewood. It's that bad. So when we are looking at renewable energy, she suggests that we start with peat latrines, the product, those things. The last one.
Okay, from a gentleman. Okay.
Thank you so much. My name is Bakawa Christopher, and I'm part of the group that is representing the academia. And me specifically, I'm from Ndeje University, where we house a renewable energy lab, one of its own kind in Uganda. As you're talking of the renewable energies, like Madam from the Gender Ministry said, a lot of research has pointed to the challenges to do, especially with mindset. In one of our research last year, my Lord the Bishop, that we conducted here in Ruwero, we realized that only 17% of the households do what we call rainwater harvesting. And this is very key in supporting the renewable energies. For instance, we enrolled out, together with the finance from Germany, also from GIZ, a number of biogas plants, and realized after a short period of time, these ones broke down. A lady or a household cannot go fetch water to feed the biogas plant that requires, let's say, 20 jerrycans of water on a daily basis. Okay? And this later turns out to be not sustainable and doesn't work. And the other thing I also want to interest this panel into is harnessing artificial intelligence in helping us run these programs, especially to do with renewable energy. Like my fellow farmer said that he is using irrigation. But from research, we need to know how much we need to limit, because you can use this artificial intelligence, for instance, when you use predictive analytics to really help you. Because the temperature today, the amount of water your plants need today, depending on the general environment, is different from what it will require tomorrow. And later, we will have long-term effects of this over-irrigation. Today, you are getting a bumper harvest out of it, but later, it will affect you. And you know very well why I'm referring to the AI interventions, because from the recent statistics, it's almost 37% that have smartphones. Okay? So this we can harness, and it helps us because there is a big knowledge gap with the farmers, and this AI can help tell you that tomorrow it will rain at this time. And this is localized, not the one we see on UBC that will tell you that where it's going to rain, and they have generalized the whole way, and it only rains in Kasana. You get? So it really helps to the farmer himself.
We will be taking this first.
I'll beg that in the interest of time,
Yes.
we'll allow a few panelists to respond in just a space of 1 minute. Gender-based programming.
Wow.
Thank you so much, moderator. And of course, one of the concerns is about male domination when it comes to the government programs, and women are not benefiting. So Ministry of Gender is very deliberate when it comes to some of the programs that we give out to community by ensuring that we involve the men, we involve all the stakeholders. I think I talked about that in the morning, that as we design these programs, we need to look at the bottom-top approach. Are we involving the religious leaders, who are the gatekeepers? Are we involving the representatives from the cultural setup, what we call the different setup? I know this is part of Uganda. Are we involving the cultural setup or the structures? So basically what I'm emphasizing is we need to look at the different community structures and our leaders, and we involve them as we do the programming, but also as we do the implementation. So Madam, of course I know it's still a challenge, but we encourage them to report some of these cases to the different community structures. It is very, very important. But also encourage the partners here that as we do the programming, as we come up with these programs, let's involve men, what we call the male involvement. Don't just engage them, make sure they are part of the process. Because if the man is aware of the objectives of the program, then he will be very supportive instead of sabotaging the objectives of the program. Don't only invite women to give them programs or projects or money. Make sure even their husbands, their uncles, people within their circles should be part of the what? Of the project. So Ministry of Gender has a male involvement strategy that we're actually currently reviewing to see that men are part of the project. But also she talked about the GROW program. Of course, I know there are different challenges with GROW. We all appreciate. But we don't have this information, Mr. Kagwanja and colleagues around. So I encourage the lady who has brought up the issue to reach out to the district local government officials. Because at every district we have what we call focal persons who have the information. Are they aware of some of those challenges? I don't know, but I mean, they are aware. If they are aware, what have they been able to do? So, anyway, we shall have a discussion during lunchtime. Then we can look at how we can support you at government level, at local, at the central level. Then, of course, under that program, we have a component of social norm change. I talked about this clearly in the morning. The social norm change, the social behavioral change is very, very important. People are still stuck to their patriarchal attitudes, mindsets. So we need to ensure that under PDM, for example, we have a pillar that is targeting the mindset change. It was not by a mistake that it was included there. It was actually by design, and there was an intention, there was an objective. So we need to make sure that mindset change is part of our programming, whether we like it or not. Otherwise, some of these social cultural norms and religious norms, which are harmful, which are negative, are with us here, and they are here to stay. But how do we make sure that we empower the community to have the right information at the right time? Let me stop here.
Thank you. I think we are not fair enough this time when we are picking reactions. Mr. Chomia, I'll request you to take the microphone. I believe we have a Bristol too who will have something to say.
Priest.
Father Bonnie.
Okay.
Okay. Let's hear from Bob as he reacts.
Thank you, MC, and thanks the audience for the very good questions. Let me begin from the down and up on predictive rainfall. A colleague from DG is trying to dismiss the products that we put out in terms of weather and climate, the rainfall outlook. But I want to answer that by posing just about 2 questions or so. So how do you improve rainfall predictability? You improve rainfall predictability by 2 things. One, you have to increase the densification of the climate or weather systems that you have. And in that case, I talked about in my presentation, how do we increase the automation of these weather stations across the country. It's true when you go to places, I've been to Cape Town, and they'll tell you at UCT it's going to rain about 11 o'clock, and indeed it will rain at 11. But the difference between them and us is that they have this technology densified across the country as opposed to us. So if you look at the percentage of which we have these automated weather stations, it's less than 50%. But regardless, our prediction, I think if you look at the rainfall outlook, it's about 70% accurate. Because if we are to go with the outlook that we issued out now, March, April, May, we're saying that rainfall, the onset of it started about March, and the peak of it is going to come in April, and before you finish April, we are going to have a cessation. And that should be good general information for farmers to plant. So by the end of April, it will be the peakest, and as we slip into May, let's forget about planting. It should give us an idea of what we need to do. From our point of view, that is progressive. But we work with other government partners to see how we could strengthen early warning systems, and we've written projects and programs to see how we can strengthen early warning systems, and those are some of the things that we highlight and enlist to boost what government has already put in place. Tree cutting, so why do people cut these trees? Basically, it's just a livelihood option. But what is it that we've done? First, we have Central Forest Reserve and other forests that we know it. What we've done as a ministry is, okay, make a commitment to first ensure that we increase afforestation from 12% as it was in 2014 to about 28%. And how are we doing that? We are doing that. We've initiated tree planting campaigns. We have a 20 million tree planting campaign, which we are doing very, very religiously, and which we also work with different churches to see how this can be actualized. Besides that, we also have projects that, even in Luero here, working with FAO, that has actually seen the establishment of tree stands that are contributing to the ecology of the communities, but also of the climate. In terms of technology affordability, I think it's all clear that the bit of subsidies that are actually government is rolling out when it comes to things like solar, at least most of us have been beneficiaries. And it's true, things like gas, there's been very big promotions about how do we continue increasing people's access and affordability to that, and I hope those promotions and whatever that we're trying to do will filter through to the lowest people in the community. Well aware, there's a fair point that was raised about affordability even with these promotions, but I think we should give credit that we've started somewhere, and perhaps in the long term, given the cost of production, perhaps that's the discussion that we need to have internally and see then how does the real Omuntu also benefit from all these promotions that we have in terms of affordability and access. Finally, I talked about renewable energy generation. There's a commitment to increase renewable energy from 915 megawatts, you can imagine, to we had committed to 3,500, but as I said earlier, Vision 2040 puts us at 40,000 megawatts. So that's an ambition that should be understood in the bigger scheme of things, where government is trying to mobilize resources within ourselves and outside with government partners. And once we have that in place, that we are able to have this 40,000 megawatts, it's going to drive our industrialization. It's also going to allow communities have access, not forgetting the rural electrification that is already on board and could be boosted if we are to improve our renewable energy generation as stated in the policy documents that we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's quite enough.
There is one burning.
Okay.
From? Let me get it.
Thank you very much. Keith Waimoka is my name. My chairperson, when she was stressing, she talked of using the very basic resource that we have. We have the toilet. And scientifically, can you tell us the challenge? Why you shy away from guiding us into using that very resource? When we are promoting the use of the similar resource for the animals. Can't we clean it and use it? I'm seeing the same happening to the bigger city like Kampala, where it is disposal in the water, but again we use the same water. What challenge do we have at household level? Bring it out clearly.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it still goes back to
Commissioner Bob. We are asking how feasible is what we have close to us.
He says to bring it out clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
Can't we start from there?
Okay, so there are different types of renewable energy. The renewable energy expert is there, but I'll speak to what I've seen in practice and also what we put on the books. So it's not just mindset per se, but I think also you're discounting availability, but if we are to categorize these, so for example, can you compare solar, which is readily available, to this that you're talking about? So if you go into the ranking, I think the other one comes first, isn't it? Secondly, you see this discussion of this that you're talking about, and biogas is one and the same thing. We've had several projects of biogas in Mount Elgon, where I come from. But I can tell you those ones have fizzled out and died as of yesterday. Because one, maintenance. Secondly, the product is not readily available. And this is practical. So it's a long shot. It's easy for us to say there's this product, but if you look at the detailed nuances and the mechanics of putting this and maintaining that, it doesn't work. So I implore you, colleagues, that from both theory and practice, I think what government has done is a positive way in enlisting the various sources of renewable energy. And that prioritization, if you follow it very keenly, will give us the results that we so need. That's where we have promotions on solar, that's where we have promotions on all sorts of things, but not yet promotions on that comes a bit last on the scale of things. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. In the interest of time,
yes.
In the interest of time,
yes,
we can proceed with this maybe a little later. But I want to thank all our panelists, and I will invite Dr. Silva to return to your seat.
Okay.
We have a very special token of appreciation that came from Dr. Brian Isabirie to the panelists, and I'll request my Lord Bishop to hand over these very special items in appreciation for your wonderful presentations. We've really drank a lot from your wisdom, and we can't thank you enough. So before I release you to go back to your seats, I'll ask Mr. Chomia to bring the special tokens, and that should be done pretty fast. Ladies and gentlemen, you realize we are doing very well on time. That is one of the characteristics of Casanensis.
Simon, Simon.
Sounds far. Yes.
Yes, after that token of appreciation, then we will have a way forward.
Yes, we'll have a way forward.
Yes.
And Father Hilary,
Muheza Ngango,
yes, the Director Caritas.
Uganda. Okay.
Okay. May I humbly request you, my dear Bishop, dear panelists, you'll stand up and you'll all be rewarded handsomely. Together with the chief guest. The chief guest will come and have a group photo with the panelists.
Okay.
Thank you, my Lord Bishop. Yes. That is what renewable energy does. You talk well, we renew you.
We thank Dr. Brian for extending this to the panelists.
Yes. Your Lordship, please, together with the guest of honor, you're going to have a group photo with the panelists. And thereafter, I'll invite Father Hilary
to give a way forward, to direct us, actually to give us guidance on how to get into the way forward. Wow.
That's our very amazing panel. We thank you very much.
With the renewable energy, there is a big smile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It comes with a big smile.
Okay. Thank you very much. Father Hilary, please come to the podium.
Wow. Something missed out. Wow. I don't know what to do. Okay. It was an oversight. Thank you so much for that group photo. Now Father comes over.
Thank you so much. I'd like to invite us to clap for our moderators, the two moderators. I want to take this opportunity to welcome my Lord the Bishop to his diocese, but I welcome you in this particular tent. And I welcome Dr. Semonzi, our chief guest, for accepting our invitation. And all of you, we are going to do a very simple task in 5 minutes. So I request each one of you, you are going to use your table. You choose your chairperson at that table. And you choose a secretary at that table. We need one chairperson and a secretary. And you have your notebooks. You are going to use those notebooks. And you are going to pull there only, you write on one page per, one page. So we will need 5 pages from one notebook. Don't write on every notebook, one. Okay. We have 5 stakeholders. 5 stakeholders. The one stakeholder, the first one, is government, because we are told that all of us are supplementing on the work of the government. So the nanyunemufu in this thing is the government. Government yomufu wamwe. So the government is the first stakeholder. Although in principle, the church is the first stakeholder, because we account directly to God. I don't know where the government accounts, but the church accounts directly to God. That's from Father Kaganda's submission. We are the stewards. So stakeholder number 2 is the church. Stakeholder number 3 are the farmers. Stakeholder number 4, civil society organizations. Stakeholder number 5 is development partners. So those who speak good English to the development partners that are present, you be close to them. I mean, mix the English and German so that they understand what we are talking about. So, just one answer per question, just one. On this theme, productive use of renewable energy for profitable and low emission farming in Uganda. What should the government do? Just write one to respond to that issue. Just write one answer. And I need those people, I need our staff to come around and pick that answer from the table. Each table should have somebody to pick the answers. What should the government do to help us in productive use of renewable energy for profitable and low emission farming in Uganda? And all of us know that we can give a job to the government. So what do you want the government to do? Okay, if you are ready, you just put up your hand, we pick our answer and take it to the secretariat. If you are two, you can join another table. But if you can afford yourselves, you can if you can afford yourselves, you can answer the question. Okay, please, who are the staff? Where are the staff? Come and pick answers. Go and pick answers. People are ready.
Okay.
Question 1. The answer is finished. Time up for question 1. Question 2. What should the church do to address this issue of productive use of renewable energy for profitable and low emission farming in Uganda? Give us one answer. Don't give many answers. Each table one answer. Give the church a job.
What should the church do? That's the question.
One answer each table. One answer each table. Don't put two answers. If you put two, we shall choose one.
Okay. Kereziya oba church ekole ki?
Kereziya ekole ki?
Omukulu yakyusa mu Luganda.
Nga okozesa amaanyi gaki? G'obutonde. Mu kuyamba abalimi.
Okay. We can have another question.
Question number 2. Question number 3. Buntunga butono buno. Epapula muzikekereza nnyo ekigezo mujja kigwa. Question number 3.
omulimi akole ki?
Okay. Omulimi ategedde ekyokukola mumuwa omulimu aleme kuviiramu awo. I heard somebody here speaking, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. It is not about needing. Ne okola ki gwe ogenda kukola ki? Civil society organizations, ebitongole bino ebyanakyewa, ebitongole ebyanakyewa bi civil society organizations nabyo mubiwa omulimu. One answer per table. One answer per table. Civil society organizations, NGOs, ebyo ebitongole ebyo. Caritas is church. Omulimu gw'omuwadde Caritas, gw'omuwadde church gwa Caritas. Civil society organizations, what do they want? What do you want them to do to address this issue? The last question. The last question. What should our development partners do? What do we our development partners, the ones collecting papers, you are not coming to tables that are finished. Mr. Sawanyana told us that he needs action. And what we are doing here is a commitment. We are making our commitments also. Okay, let's hear from question 1 feedback.
Question 1 feedback. What should government do? Favorable policies and their implementation.
Number 2.
Government should increase renewable energy investment. Political and policy and will.
Answers zemuzzemu tebazisomye. Bw'owulira nga policy tupa neyo policy.
Government should continue to find farmer organizations to enable them use renewable energy. Political stability. Government should ensure political stability.
Okay, thank you very much. The Secretariat is going to type these things and then produce our final document.
Number 2.
Question 2. Church.
2. Give me 2.
Church. Church batugamba bino.
The church should continue to sensitize people about climate change. The church should lead in mindset shift from mobilization and awareness. The church should continue to encourage farmers adopt renewable energy policies. The church sensitization and mobilization. The same sensitize farmers, develop supportive policies and implement them. I think this was government. The church should educate her subjects and the community. The church should isolate itself from this government. The church should create awareness about renewable energy for production.
This table, did you mean insulate yourself or isolate?
Church should integrate climate change message in their sermons. The church mobilize and educate on eco-sustainability. Church sensitization of the population.
Thank you very much. This
Number
question 2 is done. Question 3.
3. Yeah. Farmers. Bring farmers.
Question 3 is farmers.
Farmers mindset change. Adopt and comply. Be teachable. Abalimi mubere nga musomeseka. Farmers should put into practice all the acquired knowledge on renewable energy. Omulimi alina okusimba emiti mu bungi. Implementation, adopt smart agriculture practices. Farmers should adapt the use of renewable energy for profitable farming. Mindset change about renewable energy and adapt their technologies. Farmers should adhere and support the government programs through compliance. Mindset change. Farmers okuteekesa mu nkola implementation, I think. Implement the best fit renewable technology at smallholder farmer. Mindset change still. The farmer should implement the knowledge skills, then should implement set policies on the environment policies.
Thank you, farmers. Civil society organizations.
Bridge community and government line. Advocacy. Civil society guides policy directions that government should develop and implement. Sensitization, making bylaws. continue mobilizing communities on mindset change and use of renewable energy. Capacity building of farmers to enhance knowledge and skills in renewable energy. This should continue to conduct monitoring and evaluation of the taught practice to the farmers. Civil society should account to government and the community. Advocate for favorable policies and hold the government accountable. Continue developing and advocacy, but allowing communities to own their initiatives. Not associate with this government. Provide extension services and demonstration through trainings. Sensitize farmers and the community about renewable energy advocacy.
Okay, number 5. Our development partners, what we want them to do?
Development partners, what you want them. Advise and finance priority renewable energy initiatives. They should continue supporting the farmers with funds in relation to renewable energy. They should fund the farmers. Okusomesa, okulondoola, okunoonya abakabi b'obuyambi. Support communities, finance, technology skills and knowledge. Support in conducting research and financial support for renewable energy. Be fair and contribute to reduction of emissions by financing GHG emission and financing GHG reduction initiatives and technical guidance. This one, technological transfer. Yes, development partners should offer technology transfer, provide funding and grants, technical support, onagambye twagala ssente provide grants, loans and technical support such as research and innovations. Funding and align and support government programs. Development partners should align and support government programs. Should do trainings, support the farmers and help them solve renewable through renewable revolving fund. Support farmers through revolving funds. Thank you, Father.
Thank you so much, dear friends. All your responses have been received, and they are going to be captured and shared as part of the report from this conference. I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank you so much for your participation, and I invite the moderators to take us to the next part of the conference.
We give Father Hilary an applause. Thank you, Father, for taking us through that way forward. Now we're going to have a few speeches, one or two, and later we will finish this exercise. The first speech is going to be from the former state minister from the government of Germany. She is the special representative of energy in Africa. This is Babel Horn. Horn. Wow, Babel Horn. Yeah, you're welcome to give the first speech. Then after which, I will welcome my Lord Bishop to give closing remarks.
Yes, thank you so much, and for inviting me and the whole group from Germany. It's really an honor to stay with you here at this conference. And maybe I can tell you what was the beginning of my group and my engagement here in Uganda. As the moderator said, I was in Germany 10 years minister in the biggest state and in charge of agriculture, environment, nature conservation, planning, so a lot of different things. And after that I was member of the federal parliament in Germany, and in this function in 2009 I came here to Uganda and lived and I stayed in a household for some days, and this household has no access to electricity and no access to water. You know, that was a huge experience to me, and I saw two very serious problems and would like to do something. The first one was the cooking situation, because most of the women I saw, they were cooking, had these bed stoves, and they were ill because of bronchitis, because of their eyes and so on. So I asked Hermann and Father Hilary, that were my two contact persons, and said, what can we do? I decided to start with a foundation, and we collected money, and we started and helped 2,000 households for a better cooking situation. And the second very serious problem, it seems to me, especially in my functions later on as a special representative for energy in Africa, I worked together with the GIZ and with the KfW, that was access to electricity. Because when you see what was the situation in Germany 120 years ago, we were poor, you know, and we had nothing. So we had more income, we had more jobs, we had more money when we started with our industrial revolution, and we started to have access to energy. At that time with coal, you know, and not renewables, we didn't have that, but we had access to energy, and that was the solve of the problem. So the second part was we must give the people access to electricity, you know, especially in rural areas. Even we have half of the population in Africa have no access to electricity, and 90% from them living in rural areas. So we have to do something in rural areas, you know, especially if you see about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, means leave no one behind, you know. And if you would like to combat hunger and poverty, you must have access to electricity. So that was our idea, and that is the last idea of our foundation, is to help especially women, but also men, not only women, but also men, but in the majority women, to sell a small solar system. And that is a climate fund, a revolving fund. That means the women can pay for this small solar system, and they have to pay it back. You know, it's nothing.
The whole state was broken down. And then the men said, okay, we will give you more rights, you can vote, you know. So because they noticed that without the women, they can't manage their life, you know. So, and when we stayed in this very poor fisher village, you know, we had a lot of women there in the church. And I asked them, who's for you? Are living with children, grandchildren, but with no husband and no partner. Please raise your hand. And 2/3 of the women there, they signed, you know. They said, yes, it's my situation. What will you do if you have no women? They are taken care, and that means we must look for more income for women, you know, because they have another view of the problems. We were talking about sustainable development goals. We are talking about sustainability, you know, and sustainability means to look for the children, to look for the grandchildren. And if you have income, you do it for the education of the children, you know. So I asked one company who was selling solar home systems, and I said, why are you making all the contracts only with women? And they said, we will trust the women, they will pay the money back. We don't trust the men, you know. So that means we must think for getting this women, get more power for them, get more power, because they will have the money to pay the school fee. They would like to see that even the girls can go to school and have a future, a better future, you know. So in my group, we have 6 women and 3 men. That's a good combination, you know. and you can see that, especially because they are donors. They are donors. They are make donations for you, for the Caritas, for Herman and for the Caritas here. That means because they notice that the problems are so serious, and they have to support them, you know. And that's the one. And the other is, I think, very important for you is to come together. As we saw at the answers, you will only solve the problems when you have cooperatives, when you have groups who are supporting each other, you know. That is so important, because alone, you are very alone.
And I may tell some example from Germany. When I was member of the federal parliament, we decided over the parties, we were parliamentarians from different parties, and we decided to support renewable energies. That was 25 years ago. 25 years ago. And the sun from photovoltaic was so expensive, because it was not easy to get the energy from the sun, you know. So we decided to do it with the Renewable Energy Source Act in Germany. And what we did, that we, from Germany, from our population, paid for the technical development. So now, photovoltaic is very cheap, because we did a lot in Germany to do it, to bring it forward, you know. That was the biggest gift, I think, that Germany ever gave to the whole world. Because otherwise, we would stay 10 years ago in the past, you know. Now, it's possible to use this electricity and to use photovoltaic. And I think that is one of the examples that is so important to stay together, you know, to stay together and look forward. And that's why we said we would like to support projects that help the people to help themselves, not only to give a gift and then go ahead, but help the people to help themselves. And that means renewables. Why? You see, your diesel price is very high. At every crisis in the world, you have to pay a lot for diesel or for gas. But for the sun, you don't have to pay, even it's a crisis, you know. And for the sun, I think sun and wind, that are the best peacemakers. Because all the wars, they are because of gas fields, they are because of oil fields. But no war will be because of a solar photovoltaic plant, you know, because they are decentralized. And that means we have to support renewables because they make us more independent, make us more independent, for example, from gas prices, from import. It's easy crazy that we are paying such a lot of money to import fossil fuels. It's easy better to use the own sun and wind, you know. So that's why we think photovoltaic and renewables is so important. And that's why we say, okay, we would like to help the people to help themselves. And that's why we started with a climate fund. That is a fund for especially women, but also for men, for small solar systems, you know. And the next step must be bigger solar systems, or for example, productive use. Because with mills, with drying system, with cooling system, you could earn a lot of money. And that's why my foundation decided to bring a gift to you. We will increase the sum of the climate fund of about 15,000 euro. That's our gift for today. Thank you so much.
Wow, you deserve another round of applause. Thank you very much, Madam Baber. And what a joy to know that you are going to walk this journey with us. And thank you very much. Trust me, the next time you will be here, we'll be having a director of renewable energy, Caritas, here. Yes, she must be a woman. But I will be the MC. Thank you. At this juncture, my Lord Bishop, may I request you to come and give your remarks and thereafter invite the chief guest to give his address and formally declare the next step.
The guest of honor, Dr. Edward Sengonzi, Honorable, once an honorable, ever honorable minister from Germany, and your delegation, Mr. Hamann, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are coming to close
of our conference. I want to thank God for granting us this opportunity to gather today and reflect on such an important subject, the productive use of renewable energy for profitable and low emission farming. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for your active participation and valuable contributions. The discussions we have had together today have been enlightening and deeply relevant to the realities of our communities. We have heard clearly from our farmer representative that renewable energy has the potential to transform livelihoods by increasing production, reducing losses, and improving incomes. At the same time, we have also been reminded of the very many challenges they face, including high costs, limited access, and the need for greater awareness and support. As a Catholic Church, we are reminded of our responsibility to care for creation. The earth is God's gift to us, and we are its stewards. When we witness environmental degradation, deforestation, and the suffering caused by climate change, we are called upon to respond with responsibility and action. As emphasized in the teachings of the Church, caring for our common home is not optional, it's a moral obligation. I'm particularly encouraged by the emphasis on partnerships, coordination, and inclusion. We must ensure that our farmers, especially women and the most vulnerable, are not left behind. We must also promote a change in mindset so that our communities can embrace sustainable practices and technologies. The concerns raised during the plenary remind us that we still have work to do. Issues of affordability, access to information, equitable participation, all these must be addressed if we are to achieve meaningful progress. As we move forward, I call upon all stakeholders, development partners, the private sector, and the faith-based institutions, all of us to work together in unity. Let us translate today's discussions into concrete actions that will uplift our people and protect our environment. As Kasana Diocese, we reaffirm our commitment to continue mobilizing communities, raising awareness, and supporting efforts that promote environmental stewardship and sustainable livelihoods. I also urge all of you dignitaries from different ministries and partner organizations to support this implementation. With these few remarks, I now invite the guest of honor to address us. Thank you very much.
My Lord, the Bishop, and the clergy, representatives, colleagues from the different government agencies, our friends, the development partners, the private sector, academia, all protocols observed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. They have said my name. I'll not say it again. But I moved with a colleague of mine. I would like to introduce to you Mr. Dennis Mugaga. At the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Mr. Mugaga heads the Climate Change Finance Unit. He heads us in hunting for money in line with climate finance. So I bring you greetings warmly from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and it is both an honor and a privilege to join you at this important dialogue convened under the theme Productive Use of Renewable Energy for Profitable and Low Emission Farming in Uganda. Quite lengthy, but a very good theme. Allow me to recognize the Church, the Catholic Church, and in particular the Diocese of Kasanaluwe, not only as a spiritual authority, but as a powerful mobilizer of communities and a trusted institution influencing values, behaviors, and development pathways at a scale. The Church holds a unique position in guiding society towards responsible stewardship of creation grounded in faith and moral responsibility. As we are reminded in Scripture, Psalms 24:1, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. This calls upon all of us to act as a faithful stewardship of God's creation, protecting, preserving, and sustainably utilizing the resources entrusted to us. Distinguished participants, friends, climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is a lived reality. According to the Country Climate and Development Report of Uganda, climate-related shocks are already costing Ugandan households over US dollars 140 million annually. With increasing frequency of droughts, floods, landslides, eroding livelihoods, and reversing development gains. Friends, these impacts underscore that climate change is not only an environmental concern, but a serious economic and macro fiscal risk. It is therefore befitting that today's dialogue that has focused on the intersection of renewable energy, agriculture, climate resilience, productive use of renewable energy through solar irrigation, agro-processing, clean cooking offers a pathway to increasing agricultural productivity, reduce emissions, and enhance household incomes. This is not only a technical solution, but also an economic and moral imperative. In response to all these challenges, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development established the Climate Finance Unit, and I've introduced to you the head of the unit. 3 years ago, under the mandate of the National Climate Change Policy 2015 and the Climate Change Act 2021. This unit is responsible for mobilizing climate finance, ensuring its efficient allocation within the budget, and the utilization, strengthening and coordination across the government and partners. Friends, this mandate directly supports the realization of today's theme as scaling renewable energy solutions in agriculture requires sustainable financing, strong institutions, and coordinated actions. At the sector level, government has also strengthened implementation through establishment of the Clean Cooking Unit within the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. A unit that is promoting access to clean and efficient energy technologies. This is particularly critical for rural households where most of our people live, where reliance on traditional biogas contributes to deforestation, health risks, and low productivity. Transitioning to clean energy solutions therefore supports both environmental sustainability, improved livelihoods, especially for farming communities. We are also drawing valuable lessons from ongoing investments, particularly under the Climate Smart Agriculture initiatives in Uganda. These have demonstrated that integrating renewable energy solutions such as solar-powered irrigation can significantly enhance productivity and resilience. However, they also highlight the need for affordable financing, stronger extension services, and improved access to climate and weather information. These lessons are informing a new generation of investments and programs currently under development and implementation, which aim to scale integrated solutions across the agriculture energy nexus. The government has taken deliberate steps to support this transition. The Uganda Development Bank has been capitalized with significant resources to finance green investments, including climate smart agriculture and renewable energy. Through climate change budget tagging, all government entities are now required to align their budgets with the climate priorities, enabling access to resources even at low government levels. In addition, in the current financial year, ending June 2026, Uganda has mobilized over $504 million in climate finance from external sources to support mitigation and adoption efforts across key sectors. These efforts are aligned with government's broader tenfold growth strategy, which aims to grow the economy of Uganda from now the current $50 billion to $500 billion by 2040, anchored on agro-industrialization, tourism, mineral development, and science and technology. Agriculture and energy are central to this transformation, and productive use of renewable energy in agriculture will be critical in helping the country achieve this ambition. In this regard, I wish to commend my church, the Catholic Church at large, and in a special way, the Diocese of Kasana Luweero. Your Lordship, for the important role you play in sensitizing communities. Your contribution has gone beyond spiritual leadership you have consistently demonstrated the ability to mobilize communities at scale, influence behavior, and drive practical action in addressing societal needs and challenges. The church has played a transformative role of promoting sustainable land use, supporting tree planting, encouraging adoption of clean energy technologies, and even participating in emerging opportunities, such as carbon markets. By aligning faith with action, the church has enabled communities to not only protect creation, but also drive sustainable livelihoods from it. Your Lordship, ladies and gentlemen, I'm particularly pleased that all of these efforts and listening to the contributions, all of the efforts are focused on the people living within the communities. Why? Because the people are active participants in activities that affect our environment. They are also the ones that suffer from the impacts of climate change. And I'm glad that the church is also focusing on using the people to change our practices and adopt new ways of doing things. Let's remember that caring for our environment is not only an economic necessity, but also a moral obligation and an expression of our faith. My Lord, as I conclude, I want to take opportunity to thank you. Father Hilary called me this week, I think, and he also sent me a powerful delegation which came on Tuesday, I think, Tuesday. We are having a very busy schedule, and today I struggled to leave office because all my ministers in the country are in Chankwanzi for the retreat, and my boss, the permanent secretary to Treasury, I missed the press release today. We are releasing the money for the last quarter of the financial year, so the meeting is still going on. I had to escape and run away very, very fast before I got into problems with the bishop by not turning up. So those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Sengonzi Damlida. More importantly, I come from Nakaseke here, but I work with the Ministry of Finance as the Undersecretary and Accounting Office of the Ministry. So I'm always very happy and pleased to be here. I got a delegation from Church of Uganda, led by retired Bishop Jackson Matovu, coming to me to meet with me because they are trying to develop the Uganda Matters Museum in Namugongo.
and I think they had seen in the budget. We have been working with the Archbishop to also finish the development of the Catholic works in Namugongo. I think that bishop visited the priest house. Not priest alone. The bishop is also first a priest. So that house, we have been working with the Archbishop. I think it is now ready on the 3rd of June. Those who have not gone there, you'll find a totally different place. But we have also managed to put in money in the budget to support now the other works. So I think they saw the imbalance there, that the Catholic Church has been supported with 6 billion and they have been supported with 3 billion, so I've been massaging. I've been massaging my friend, the bishop, so we got delayed. But I'm happy that I've been here, and I thank all of you, the farmers, for turning up. Mwebale kujja, mwebalire ddala banange, tuyiye engeri ki gye tukwata amagezi g'abakulu ge batugamba, kubanga mulaba kaakati edda kyali nga kyangu nnyo okumanya nti kati eno sizoni omusana gugenda kwaka, eno enkuba egenda kutonnya, eno sizoni yakungula, naye kati ebintu bikyukakyuka. In the ministry, anybody from water? No. Oh, yeah, Commissioner. About 2 weeks ago, I think last week, that new project to do with irrigation, yeah, they presented it. You came, you attended, you were in Korea. Yeah, I was very tough. I said, we approved another project in agriculture, this project of smart agriculture, I think, climate smart agriculture, called climate smart agriculture. So I was very vocal in that meeting. I said I want to see the linkage between this new, it was called what, that project? The new one you are chasing now. Nexus Green, phase 2, in water, underwater. So I think that we appreciate, but we said you go and give us the linkage now between the other one and this one. And we also want ministry water for production. We want the two ministries to work together so that we can harmonize and see that we go to the farmers as one government. So I thank you all for listening to me, and thank you for inviting me. We shall continue providing.
Thank you so much. Another applause to the guest of honor. Before Dr. you sit, I kindly request our bishop, your lordship, to come and extend an appreciation to the chief guest through a gesture which we have here, a simple gift from the organizers, and then later after, the chief guest will also give the bishop this token. Then I'll also invite the minister, Babel, also to receive one from the bishop. Yes, I hope you have captured it. Now, Dr. Sengonzi, on behalf of government, you give the bishop. Wow. On behalf of government, Bishop receives from Dr. Sengozi. Then, on behalf of the diocese, Bishop hands over that token to Minister. My Lord Bishop, then Dr. Sengozi and the Minister, before you take your seats, I request you remain behind for another activity, which is the official launch of the project. That one in charge, kind of go forward. Minister and Mr. Hammond, can I kind of join the team? We shall have the Bishop, Dr. Sengozi, Minister, Caritas Director Uganda, kind of join the team. Minister, former Minister Babel, kind of join the team. We are going to be appending the signatures. Okay, kind of guide. Yes, I think after the photos, signatures should have come fast. Please go and hold it. Okay, let's have signatures first.
Right now, His Lordship, Bishop, has appended his signature to the project, Strengthening Gender and Participatory Climate Resilient Strategies in line with national development plans for implementing action. Launched today, 9th April 2026. Obugalo. Right now, Caritas Uganda Director, Father Hilary, is appending his signature. And shall we invite the partners? Shall we invite the partners from the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development and Caritas Kampala?
Wekembe.
Anna Caritas Kampala.
Wekembe, Caritas Kampala. Caritas Kasanaensis. Sikido. Anna. Okay.
Wow, amazing.
Amazing signature.
Okay. You can choose the color.
Oh,
there is red, blue, yellow.
There's no red. I have black. Red. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. After that moment, then a group photo involving all the partners. Is Wekembe represented? Okay.
Yes.
Fully represented.
Okay. Yeah, we still have space for signatures.
And represented by a woman. Madam Wekembe, before you go back, there is a group photo. Kind of those in charge, let's have that group photo.
You know, they told us that a signature says so much about the character of a person.
Oh.
Small signature.
A big person?
Big person.
Oh. The big signature?
Big signature, you have a loan.
The bank is looking for you. Wow. Oh, thank you for this moment. I hope, media, you are done.
So basore banyabo,
not yet.
Project yaffe etongozeddwa olunaku olwaleero era nga nayo yakufuukula nti kutaasa butonde n'okutambulira mu nkola ey'enkulaakulana ey'eggwanga. Twebaza Mukama nti olugendo luno tulutandise ng'ate Caritas be bagenda okugiwoomamu omutwe
wano mu Kasana
Luweero Diocese. Tuli mu kintu.
Okay. I think that is done. I request the ushering team to pick this up. Before Father Hilary, National Director, goes back, kindly, my Lord Bishop, we request to hand this over to Father Hilary. Yes.
Abeeruwere bannaye mwekubireko mu ngalo. Ono mwana wammwe naye kati director wa ggwanga lyonna Caritas yava wano. Tukiwe ku ngalo bannaye. Father Hilary, we are proud of you. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've literally come to the end of our gathering today. We'll have a final blessing from His Lordship, and thereafter we'll be guided on lunch.
Yes.
But I need to remind you, emidaala egyo bannange tugende tulambule ku midaala egyo waliwo ebintu ebirungi.
Waliwo n'abaagala okwekubya ebifaananyi eby'enjawulo kijja kukolebwa nga essaala ewedde.
Okay. Shall we all rise for the blessing? Sebo Mukadde waffe Bishop, please come and bless us.
Let us pray. God our Father, we want to thank you for the blessings of this day. We thank you for all the people who have generously shared with us today on the topic that we have been deliberating upon. Lord, the next step is to implement the good ideas that we have received in the time we have been here together, putting our heads together, networking, get to know each other better, and see how we can work together. We thank you for all the good people that have been here, our partners, people from government, from our partners abroad, and all our local people here who have made this time to come here and participate in this dialogue. We ask your blessing, Lord, as we go for lunch, and also afterwards as we go home, that you may keep us safe, and that you may always guide us in what you want us to do to protect your environment and to restore it to what it was originally. We ask all this through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
The Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Once again, I thank you for participating actively in this dialogue. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Lord Bishop. We have lunch, and this is the guidance of how we are to have the lunch. You can take seats for a moment. I give this guidance. The guests, I mean those who have come from different ministries, district officials, priests, and the curia, you will be going to St. Paul's Hotel for lunch. Then others, we shall remain here. Then the exhibitors, you can pass by those stalls. Waliwo aboolesa osobolokera ku midaala egyo n'olaba abantu baffe mu communities kikye bakola. Naye abagenyi baffe mwenna okuva ku district, okuva mu ministries, ate n'abasaseredooti n'abagenyi bonna tugenda ku St. Paul. Abalala ba farmers n'abalala ffenna tujja kusigala wano. Kansabe bekikwatako tuyambeko mu kutambuza abagenyi. Simon.
Once again, we want to thank you profoundly for making this happen. You've graced us by your presence and your wonderful contributions. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to my dear co-MC, you've done a fantastic job. Thank you. Safe travel back home and bon appetit.
Omwagazi w'ekibuga otusawazi bujja bujja bajja butuuka okubulwa busula amayumba bannange gafuuse ekirala simanyi nakyewanise nga njumpangise kati tukwata n'emisingi osanga nsasula n'olowooza mwoyo kyensasula n'obulwa omuntu wawano takyalengera muntu labye nnyo okulabira okumpi ng'ensolo muwooza twasoma eringa eŋŋombo kitalo nnyo okusomerera ebbanga otinnyika woba nange twerabidde muzuukuke twekubeko tubone okwepa ye bannange lwaki tetwewaayo netunoonyeza ddala obugagga buli obwensibo nabaze munnodingidde buli alina waatamakanyweza enkumbi enkumbi eyamba naye katusabe gyebujja olimbuulira woliŋŋamba tewamuulagula bintu wabirengera otya ebikuli ewala n'ekibuga bannange kisusse ekigero kati omuntu atuuse n'okubula kyakola twekwasa mmere emidaala eseerwa neyotuka mu kyalo lw'amasanyu agyevuma omulimi anakuma wakweramula omuntu ojja kolerera olubuto olwetamwe mu kuvungisa nsimbi obanga ojjukiranga ettooka otigamba ekikumi ebankota naye kati ekikumi okyasembera we olaba n'omutunzi w'ebyogwa kigobya era ffe abafamire twafa dda obuwunga bwe bukwatiridde abalina enzito bw'owa abantu abiri okuloota ettooka eritagenda kumala olyeko n'ekyeggulo kyoba okulamu olusi omuhondo w'ekigaali n'omutika n'empuutayo waliwo n'asiiba oba gwoza nnyo okumanya ng'abaagazi b'ebibuga twaguma abalala tutunda n'ensuku ezigudde akaleka n'ogenda okukolerera ekiwaku n'amata n'akubulira nga bwe yateeba akali mu nsonga z'akola abalyandye n'abantu be
twongera okubajjukiza emidaala egiri musobola okuyitako ku midaala egyo newankubadde obudde bwakyamisana muyiteeko ku midaala egyo mulabe abantu baffe kye bakola mu communities ez'enjawulo chairman LC5 Elasto Kibirango naye tubadde naye right from the very beginning. Thank you so very much for your attendance. Now I think we can exit, go to the different stalls. Thank you so much.
Ntuuse bavubuka bannange nga bwemumanyi ku luno nange munanneetamwa bingi byenzize ndaba byonna nenkuŋŋaanyako nzeera mmala kubiweza wabula osaana wekkaanye bw'osumagira sibega kinyumya sikiddamu bannange abantu b'ekibuga musula mutyamwe bala emirimu gye mukola bwonziramu nti nno oli bulungi awo nga nkimanya nti olinamu akalimu k'okola ekibuga kyagala kukola n'ofuna ssente olwo nno n'okiwangula leeka kudda mukolera mikono nakunyiigira mukama nti nze maama yanjima wagiridda mu kyalo erimire okwate enkumbi osige by'olikungula anti bw'osumagira ogenze ng'oliwona okubba oli bamasikiniya mazima bannange abalimi mwebale bannange obwavaabulwanyisa abasuubuzi bannange mwebale bannange obwavaabulwanyisa kansooke ku ludda lw'abaami kuba ndaba nfaafa baba beegayalira abamu mu kifo ky'okukola keera bukezi okuzannya amatatu gatendeka bingi mwe muva n'oluusi abatutiigomya ekiro kubanga mwezi mulema emisana ng'olunno n'abagagga basse bootebeebake munno wakusanga mu nnyumba n'akusaba ensimbi baba n'akulajanya muliddawo mu maaso ga mukama weekube mu bambi mwebejja weekola bavubuka kati ndabye bangi nga keera ku paaka kubba n'omusaasira wafuna omulimu ogw'ekinaku